whether or not you were right or wrong, I'm like, you really can't go wrong if you just kind of dive into the big J right there and just go a bit deeper in that.
You know what I mean?
You mentioned faith a little bit. You mentioned the family. So without the family, that's very tough. I definitely don't envy you for that, but respect. And I mean, that is very difficult to do. So you don't have to talk about it. I'm not sure if you're public about it at all, but I've seen you post a couple things about the Lord and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe I'll dive into it a little bit on the podcast if the opportunity presents itself. But has there been any impact? And if, I guess, how has it played out for you?
I mean, the faith part or what part?
I guess specifically with Jesus, because
okay, yeah,
it's a very different religion than most people, I think, realize if they're not like a little bit up to date on what's going on with the religion and some of the details there. But it's a very, very beautiful religion, I would say. And it helps a lot of people when they're in a bad place. That's definitely how I found it. I was not raised religious at all. I came there because I fell flat on my face 1,000 times and realized that there's no other option that's going to be an eternal help. Everything is temporary, at least from the things I had tried. And so it means lots to me. So
I mean, so my relationship with like faith has always been complicated. And, you know, like I don't really like to say religion. It's more faith. Like I don't believe like Christianity to like, you could say in essence it is a religion, but it's more of a faith and a way of life for me. And, you know, I was sort of raised Catholic in one way, shape or form. Like, I got communion. I think I got baptized as a baby. But then I didn't get confirmation or anything like that. Like, custody battles and thing going on in my life. So like, I wasn't able to like continue going. And so my paternal side is supposedly Jewish. I mean, I don't really know much of that family. I know some of them, but I never like practiced like Judaism or anything like that. So I was kind of like not really practicing anything for most of my life, to be honest. And then, like I've always prayed, like I always believed in God and Jesus, but like I didn't really know what any of it meant. And, it took me a long time to kind of like tune into that. And so when I was going through a really rough time this past year, I was just like, praying and I didn't really know what I was up to. And then my friend invited me. She was like, Randi, like come to church with me. Just come one Sunday, see if you like it, see what the vibe is. I was like, you know what? Sure. And the one that I go to, so youthful, great youth program. Like I'm a part of so many things that go on there now. And I just like went to my first service, came out hysterical crying. And I was just like, wow, like that. The message at the time too is about, it was a Life of David series. So it was about King David. And, David went through everything and, he was just beaten down by his family, like everything. And he just like gave it to God and said, you know what, give me the guidance. And so when I, heard a lot of these things, it just like really slapped me in the face because I, at that point, my bank account was drained. I made some money, had to give it all to the IRS. By the time I made some more money, so I was back at zero again. I didn't have a home. I didn't have anywhere to go. Like I thought I was going to sleep in my car. Like I just thought that things were like going to get a lot worse. And I just had to admit to myself, like, I don't know everything. I can't do this on my own. And I just, gave my life and, just gave my spirit to Jesus essentially and let him guide me. And, having no family and no parent to really like give you direction and say, you know what, like, this is how you should handle your taxes. Oh, this is how you should handle like getting an apartment. This is how you should handle your car. Like, all these things, like, I just don't have guidance on. Not that the Bible gives me guidance on that, but opening the word and like seeing like, okay, these are problems that people have had for like thousands of years, whether that's relationships, trials, tribulations, stress, anxiety, and what's the righteous way to get through that. And so I don't like classify myself as Catholic. I really just like, define myself as someone that's faithful in Jesus Christ and God, and just knowing that, there's a way forward. And when I started to get into the word and about my calling and all this stuff, like it's stuff that I was already doing for the most part, but now I'm realizing why it's happening and potentially what can go forward from like what can happen from here. And so just getting that guidance and reading a lot of the New Testament, a lot of King David's story. I read through 1st and 2nd Samuel. I'm trying to finish the Bible in the year. Like I'm really going off on this. And so to me, this is about learning about how to be a better person and to heal from all the trauma that I went through, honestly, because it's been a lot. And I've been told by a lot of people I've experienced too much life for being only 22. And for that, I am grateful. But at the same time, it's time to like reevaluate myself and look inward and say, okay, all of this has happened to me, but how can I not feel bad about it? How can I just move forward and, really just live a peaceful life? And once you get rid of that anxiety and, then your heart's open to everything else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes, I very much hear you there. I 25 years or so before it was like 2 years, 27 now. So 25 is when I had basically was like, okay, I tried everything. I've tried every drug. I've tried every other religion, every other figure that's supposed to be able to help me just fix this, whatever is wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. Something's off. I just knew something was internal, like nothing was good enough. And I was just like, man, why do none of these things work? This doesn't make any sense. And interestingly, I'm kind of like, I went through sort of the process you're in right now. I went through, read the entire Bible back to front. It took way longer than I thought it was going to. It took like literally a year and a half or something. I was like, good Lord. But I was going to knock this out in like 6 months. It is not possible.
You have to take your time. You really do.
Agreed. And interestingly, at the very end of all of that, I've gone through every single possible Q&A, every possible like person of every side of the equation, and probably going to end up in the Catholic camp, surprisingly. And everyone gets all confused when I say that because they're like, well, what about all the, and I'm like, well, I have no idea what to tell you. I'm like, here's all the reasons. But I'm kind of with you there because on all sorts of the front there, like it really does start and it really is focused on the religion, or it really is focused on that relationship with Jesus. And it's so specific right there. It's like very, very specific there. And I just feel like with all the arguing back and forth, like whether it's in the Bitcoin community or in the Jesus community, there's like way too much of the chaos on the details where I'm like, listen, whether or not you were right or wrong, I'm like, you really can't go wrong if you just kind of dive into the big J right there and just go a bit deeper in that.
You know what I mean? If you just stay true to the Bible and the teachings in the Bible, like that's really what matters. And I feel like people really try to like, like what the whole thing that happened with Charlie Lee, where like it's like a 30-second clip that everyone took out of context, like that had nothing to do with what he was actually saying. I feel like people do the same with the Bible, where like they take one verse and they're like, this is what it means. But then if you read the line before and the line after, it's not what it means. Exactly. And so like, I think that's been my biggest beef with some churches. But at the end of the day, like I really feel like I'm in more the non-denom type vibe. And there's a lot of non-denoms where I'm at. And so I feel like that, like, as long as you're true to the Bible, you're teaching me like the ways, and, even diving into small groups, I think is a great thing. Like there's always a church that will offer a group for your age, or like for entrepreneurs or women or men, whatever it may be, and just like break down the sermon from the day before, go over like, life challenges. And honestly, like hearing from so many other people in these groups, it's just like really inspiring me to keep going, and know that there's a lot of people that are like taking this and fueling their fire and, mending relationships, whatever that may be. But just hearing from other people is great too. So I think just hearing other testimonies is worth it, honestly, and how people have really found solace within it.